At events like this, you often get to introduce people, and some of them you know only from pictures on a screen or from afar or from news clippings. I am very thankful that this fourth-generation farmer who grew up in Howe, Indiana, and has become our 3rd District representative, has become a close and fast friend. Marlin Stutzman and his lovely wife, Christy, and their children have painted a picture in Washington, D.C. of what real, true American values in the state of Indiana look like. And one of those values is that as they look at their 2 sons, Peyton and Preston, as they are active in their church at Community Baptist up in Howe, they never drop the banner on realizing that the fight for life is a fight that cannot be let go. It's a fight that cannot be lost, and it's a fight that Marlin Stutzman fights every day, whether it's in Washington, his office here, or back at home, or just kneeling by the beds of 2 young boys and trying to get them to sleep at night. Life is very important. He is a great friend. He is a great representative. Would you please welcome Congressman Marlin Stutzman.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Thank you. Well, good evening. It's good to be here with you this evening on a fantastic evening as we get together to celebrate life and to remember life and the work that we have in front of us. What a great event to see the turnout tonight. I want to, of course, thank Kathy Humbarger, one of the greatest teammates that anybody could have, working together. Used to be at the Indiana State House, but now in Washington. Kathy has just been one of those true soldiers, one of those champions that I would be glad to go into any fight with. So, Kathy, thank you very much. And, of course, to the Allen County Right to Life Board, and to all of the supporters of Allen County Right to Life, thank you. It is truly remarkable to see the success, but also to see the efforts that have been championed by this organization that means so much, not only in Washington, but also here in Indiana and here at home in our community in the work that they do. And thank you to every one of you that supports Allen County Right to Life. And, of course, I want to thank the Indiana Right to Life folks as well. Working with them in Indianapolis and in Washington is such an important part of our vision, an important part of what we're trying to accomplish, and having a great team effort makes that job just a little bit easier. So thank you to each and every one of you. You want to just pass on our hellos from Christy and Peyton and Preston. Christy and the boys were not able to be here tonight, which they usually love to be along with us at this particular event. But they were not able to be here, but want to thank them for their efforts as well. I want to just talk a little bit briefly. We all know the challenges that we face in our country, in our society, with the abortion issue. I think it's important for us that we just remember where we're at. There's a lot of positive things that we can be excited about, be encouraged about, but we're also still facing a great challenge. Just to give you a couple statistics and numbers tonight so that we remember where we're at and what we're still trying to overcome. There have been approximately 52 million abortions since 1973. In 2008 alone, there were over 1.2 million abortions. That is 3,315 abortions per day. 138 per hour, about 2 every minute. This means that in 2008 alone, more children died from abortion than Americans died in the Revolutionary War, the Civil War, World War I, World War II, the Korean, Vietnam, and Gulf War combined. The latest Gallup polling shows that a small majority of Americans now consider themselves pro-life, which is very encouraging. Recent polling also shows that a majority of Americans oppose taxpayer-funded abortions. So I believe that even though we are still seeing millions aborted, that we are on the right track and that Americans across the country are seeing that abortion is wrong and that taxpayer-funded abortion is wrong as well. By removing taxpayer financial support, abortion funding bans reduce the number of abortions. Studies by abortion proponents have even shown that public funding for abortion increases the number of abortions in the covered population by 25% or more. According to their 2009-2010 annual report, Planned Parenthood received $487.4 million in government funding. That is an astounding $1.34 million per day. By their own count, the performed 329 let me back up here, 329,000 abortions in that same time. That's over 900 abortions a day funded by taxpayer dollars. In early 2011, Indiana passed legislation to prevent subsidizing abortions with state and federal tax dollars. Thank you to Senator David Long, to our state senators here, our state representatives who stood up to those who are advocating for our taxpayer dollars to go towards abortions. Thank you for stopping those dollars from going to abortion. But then just like that, the Department of Health and Human Services in Washington, D.C. now is threatening to punish Indiana for its pro-life legislation. So I led a bipartisan group, Republicans and Democrats, of 100 members of Congress to push back on Obama's administration and telling them not to allow or not to punish Indiana for doing what the state of Indiana thinks is right. We had a great number of people that were part of that effort, and I know that when we are seeing today Washington forcing the will of Washington legislation on the states, we're going to continue to have this battle, and I think it will be a battle that we can win because of the constitutional rights of the states, and this is one that I'm glad to be a part of. So thank you to those state legislators who are willing to stand up and fight Washington, D.C. as well. Another very important issue that Bishop Rhodes mentioned is the Respect for Rights of Conscience Act of 2011. It is very unfortunate that we are in this position in America today, that we are even having to do this sort of legislation. When we're seeing schools, hospitals, businesses, individuals having to make choices that are going to comply with federal law against their own conscience, it is not right. And I believe that we can fight, we will fight, and the American people are going to stand up on this particular issue, this election, and make sure that the Americans' voice is heard, and making sure that Washington cannot step onto our religious freedoms. So tonight, I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you, to see those who are serving in office and those who are running for office, who are standing up for this particular issue. I tell you, if we cannot stand for the issue of life, there's not much we can stand for. My wife, Christy, and I, we have 2 sons, as I mentioned earlier, and one of the things that I remember very early on in our marriage was when we had the opportunity to see our sons as they grew in the womb and doing an ultrasound and seeing that life grow, and to see the technology that we have today that proves that that life is growing and living inside the womb. It's a tremendous and it's an exciting time when a family is bringing a new life into the world. Obviously, we have a lot of great challenges today, but there is nothing more important than to stand up and to protect life today in America. So thank you to each and every one of you. I just had the opportunity to meet a bunch of the young people from Bishop Dwenger back in the back. I don't think they put them back there because they're rowdy or anything, because they're actually very well behaved. It's actually Pat Miller up here that should be... But to see these young people across our state and across our community standing up already at an early part where they can be a part in their life when they can be very influential in other young people's lives, to me is very encouraging. We must fight. We need to stand up for those who cannot speak out. We must stand up and speak out for those who don't have a voice. So thank you for your support of Allen County Right to Life. Thank you for what you do in our communities. Continue to reach out and to touch those people around you. That is how we're going to win this fight. We're going to obviously be fighting it continually in Washington and Indianapolis, but the best way, the way that we have hope, is to be on our knees praying, but also to be reaching out to our friends and our neighbors in our community, showing a loving hand and taking care of those who need help, and to reach out at a time of crisis for young people, young women, and showing that there is an alternative, and to change hearts and lives. Thank you. God bless you.